Thinking is the talking of the soul with itself. Plato, one of the greatest thinkers of all time. His work has been studied and debated for over 2 millennia. Still, his work provides a valuable insight into fields like ethics, metaphysics, and politics. The reason? He focused his studies on an abstract concept, the existence of perfect forms in math and nature. This allowed him to lay the foundation for the scientific method and logical system we use today. The Wright brothers. They had a powerful vision of people flying across the sky, and this inspired them to create the airplane. They lacked a control system, a wing design, and a flight path. Boring, repeated flight data that everyone else was using got them nowhere. So they looked to the sky and looked at birds. Birds, which angle their wings for better flight control and stability. Through this came the concept of wing warping, and this allowed them to make their legendary flight at Kitty Hawk in 1903. Their unusual source of information changed the way we humans behave forever. We are now more connected in the aerial age because of them. Understanding how we think is essential to the survival and evolution of the human race. Our brains respond to what we feed it. To understand why we consume such low-quality media that rots our brains, we need to understand how it affects us. There's reason to believe that low-quality media is responsible for the dwindling mental faculties of the human race. This is a direct threat to our creativity, cultural development, and critical thinking. To stop this, we need to analyze our generation's population, our generation's media consumption in order to put a stop to this trend. I want to do an exercise with you guys. I will reveal a topic shortly, and I want you to focus only on this one topic. Not about this TED Talk, not about me, just this one thing. A lake. Stop. The average attention span in 2000 was 12 seconds. The average attention span now is only 8 seconds. This is a 33% decrease, which means a 33% decrease in our productivity, a 33% decrease in our focus, and a 33% decrease in our skill development. For some context, the attention span of a goldfish is 9 seconds. Our smartphone and the internet has given us a constant connection to digital distractions, which erode our mind. Short-form video apps like TikTok and Instagram Reels erode our mind by providing bite-sized content for it to consume. This triggers the release of dopamine into our brain. Dopamine, the same chemical responsible for drug addiction. This chemical is associated with prolonged use, and social media's notification-based structure that uses likes, shares, and comments triggers the same brain response as making money, which we associate a real value with. Algorithms are used by these social media companies to produce immediate satisfaction and grant immediate feedback to the app. This creates trends of thousands or even millions of videos with the exact same content with slight variations for extended dopamine release, which causes even more addiction. Our brains are very susceptible to prolonged social media use. Our parents say that it causes brain rot. They aren't wrong. A study shows that white matter tracts in the brain, especially responsible for speech and speech recognition, have been eroded by prolonged social media use in teens and adolescents. These include the Broca and Wernicke parts of the brain. These are responsible for language comprehension, executive function, and literacy abilities. Prolonged social media use in adolescents and teenagers stunts development. An additional cause of our brain's erosion is the amygdala and its response to social media. The amygdala is responsible for emotional processing in the brain. The amygdala is also responsible for emotional outbursts, emotional vulnerability, and also reinforces addictive behavior when used with social media. Phantom vibration syndrome. Phantom vibration syndrome is a very real condition that 90% of college students experience today. It's the false perception that your phone is ringing or vibrating when it isn't, as a response to the dopamine deficit that social media provides. Anxiety, overvigilance, and stress are other side effects of this condition. Phantom vibration syndrome is very real, and 41% of people say they experience it more than once a week. Our brains are very susceptible to social media. The internet has conditioned us into thinking that we seek rapid gratification and rapid solutions to our problems. Our brain has been conditioned to think that we need short-form videos for our intellectual stimulation. This cannot be the case. Our brains are fine tools responsible for our entire being. Having them to be susceptible to social media erodes our very being and the fabric of our reality. When we expose ourselves to social media, we expose ourselves to problems such as stress, anxiety, and OCD. When we interact with social media, this can cause us to become dependent on these traits. And without social media, we can expect an increase in these traits around our generation. Our reliance on a formula to fix things has become a serious problem in today's media. Boring content is experienced by all of us here today. Repetition in film, media, and other forms of expression. The reliance on a formula and quick fixes has usurped the need for creative stimulation. We cannot give our brains what they want because we are too busy with greed and profits to consider taking new ideas and putting them into things for entertainment. We need to stand up and realize that social media should not be a problem to our generation, but rather a tool that we should use to better ourselves. Repeated long-form videos is the way to go, with interesting and functional content that educates us rather than that dries up our attention span and stops us from thinking. When a quick fix is chosen over a creative idea, we lose the ability to immerse ourselves in that idea and lose the thought-provoking experience that creative storytelling brings. To conclude, social media is a tool used to train our brains to respond to different stimuli. Depending on what that stimuli is, we can have severe adverse and positive reactions to it. We need to step outside of our comfort zone, and just as the Wright brothers and Plato did, we need to look for an unusual source of information, unusual media, abstract sources of entertainment which don't correspond to our comfort. This is the only way for us to regain our innovative spirit and our creativity. This can be as simple as going outside, exercising, taking up a new hobby, reading and developing something new, or just not staying in the same place at the same time. Social media is a tool, and thinking is the talking of the brain with itself. So let's give it something to talk about.